Hello students, today we will discuss about the new chapter, that is movement in and out of the cells. So let's start with the first topic, that is the diffusion. So actually the term diffusion is simply known as the diffusion is a net movement of molecules and ions from the region of their high concentration to the region of their lower concentration down a concentration gradient as the result of their random movement. So here we can see actually so we have more concentration at one place and less concentration at the other. So the movement of molecule from higher concentration to the lower concentration, so we can say along the gradient. Actually the gradient is actually nothing but the slope. Actually this slope is called as the gradient. So this random movement of molecule, this moment is random, not in the row. So this random movement is called as the diffusion. This is simply term that is used for diffusion. So here we can see the details that random movement is the known as, also known as the haphazard movement or the irregular arrangement. So molecule of the gas such as oxygen are moving about all the time. As we know, all the gases all are moving all the time. So or the molecules of liquid or substance such as sugar dissolve in water. As a result of this movement, the molecules spread themselves out evenly to fill all the available space. So actually this term is actually known as the compressibility factor. So as we know, all the gases are compressible. So it means if we provide a specific volume to any specific gas, so it can be compressed to the smallest volume. Maximum compressibility is present in the gases, less in the liquids, and least in the solids. So this process is called actually diffusion. One effect of the diffusion is that molecule of a gas, liquid, or the dissolved substance will move from the region where there are a lot of them or concentrated to the region where there are few of them or less concentrated, until the concentration everyone become same. So here we have the diagram, that is a oxygen outside the cell, and inside the cell the net diffusion through the semi permeable membrane or the partially permeable or selectively permeable membrane, or also known as plasma membrane or cell membrane. There are a lot of names of this cell membrane. So until the equal concentration becomes outside and the inside of the cell, so this diffusion remain occurs. Whether this will happen or not happen or whatever, the cell membrane will let the molecule through the through them. Small molecules such as water, carbon dioxide and oxygen pass through the cell membrane fairly easy. They can pass through cell membrane very easily due to their smaller size. So diffusion tend to equalize the concentration of these molecules inside and outside the cell all the time. When the cell uses oxygen for its aerobic respiration, the concentration of oxygen inside the cell falls, so oxygen molecule diffuse into the cell until the concentration is raised again. During the tissue respiration, carbon dioxide is produced, so it is concentrated inside the cell. Once again diffusion take place, but this time the diffusion, of course, in reverse manner. In this way diffusion explain how cell takes in oxygen and get rid of the carbon dioxide. It's very common and it's very easy to remember, because we need oxygen for the continuous supply for the aerobic respiration in cell that take place in our cells, to produce the enough ATP for our breathing and for the normal functioning. So we have to take in, and actually the pre-existing oxygen is being used in aerobic respiration. So the new oxygen comes through the diffusion and enter into cell until it replenished thoroughly. After that, carbon dioxide is accumulating inside the cell as it is produced in the respiration. So we have to uh, waste it, or we have to get rid of it. So our cells diffuse carbon dioxide out of the cells. So importance of diffusion of the gases and the solutes actually. So the importance of the diffusion is very 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 important. Gases, as first of all we have seen that we have to use oxygen and get rid of carbon dioxide. So that is the reason actually for the gases diffusion. So all these paragraphs explain this reason. So we can skip first two paragraphs. The next one is nitrogen is commonest gas in the atmosphere. 78% of air in the air is nitrogen. Nitrogen gas also enters the bloodstream by diffusion, but it is actually inert. It is not, our body is unable to use it directly. Actually, there are a lot of bacteria present that are uh, due to which we can use the nitrogen, and in the nitrogen cycle these becomes first converted into nitrates, nitrites, and after that they are uh, actually mixed with the and absorbed into the bodies and the form the peptide bonds, and after that we can use the nitrogen. So directly nitrogen is not used in our body, it is very inert and is very unreactive. So under normal condition it causes no problem. However, divers are at risk. So it is very important, as the divers swim deeper, the surrounding water pressure increases, and this in turn raises the pressure in the diver's air tank. An increase in the nitrogen pressure in the air tank results in the more nitrogen diffusing into the diver's tissue. The amount going up the longer the diver stays at the depth. Nitrogen is not used by the body tissue, so it builds up. When the diver begins to return to the surface, the pressure decreases and nitrogen can come out of the solution, forming bubble in the blood. If the diver ascends too quickly, these bubbles can block the blood flow and become lodged in the joints, resulting in a condition called as the decompression sickness. It is very important terminology that is used for the divers face through this decompression sickness or the bends. Unless the diver rises slowly in the planned stages, the effect of nitrogen bubble is potentially lethal and can only be overcome by the rapid recompression. And we put the patient into the 100% oxygen so that the nitrogen can be compensated and nitrogen can be removed out of the cells. So that was all about today's lecture. In the next lecture we will continue our next lesson. Thank you.